the Legends of Iron. I'm Jon Andersen. Meet my co-hosts, Nick Best and Akim Williams. We're going to have some amazing guests on the show. Buckle up tight, because we're going to be talking about the shit you're not supposed to be talking about. We're going to be discussing anything and everything it takes to become a Legend of Iron.
Legends of Iron is brought to you by MuscleMeds. MuscleMeds is the creator of Carnivore Pure Beef Protein Icing. Beef builds muscle, and Carnivore is the world's #1 selling beef protein. Welcome to another edition of Legends of Iron. With me, always my partners in crime, Nick Best and Akim Williams. We've also got our producer with us, the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain, the one who makes it all work, Ben Bulman, my brother. Welcome to the show as well. How's everybody doing today? Nick, Ak, everybody rocking? Good?
Yeah, doing good. Doing great.
Day above ground.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Akim, how was your day today? Because just from social media, we saw a lot of stuff.
Yeah, man. I'm actually full steam ahead. I'm back strong. Started lifting heavy again. You know, and the shoulders is feeling great. So nothing but blessings, man. I can't complain at all.
Right on.
Isn't it crazy when we're in a position where we've trained for so many years and we've done it for so long consistently. When something comes along and takes us away from that, isn't that kind of shocking how you realize, oh my God, what a major piece of life it is? I mean, does it feel like you're complete again?
Man, Yes, exactly. And I got to the point where, people might not they look at me and what the hell is he talking about? You didn't get that small, but I remember waking up and after the surgery, maybe a month after, especially when I got cleared to start back training, I would just stop, just like how you sit in your thinking chair and you try to figure out different problems and stuff like that. I would just stop. I would use a mirror, and I would look at the mirror and look at my shoulders, look at my chest, look at my triceps and stuff like that. And I'm like, how am I getting this back? Before I would never have second thought to me. When I was training and every day, I would just take it all for granted. And then going through the shoulder surgery and getting the shoulder surgery repaired and everything like that, getting the shoulders repaired. And I would look at those body parts and I'm like, how am I getting those body parts back? How am I going to how do I have what it takes to get me back to where I was before, basically? Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the biggest challenges for me, to try to just visualize what I see myself as before, and can I get back to that point?
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Sometimes a little bit of forced rest, especially as we get older, actually works a lot better than we want to give it credit for, Sometimes I know, granted in my 50s, Nick, I'm sure you can attest to this. Sometimes, it's I'll overtrain, get myself overtrained because I know I'm going to travel and I figure I just need a few days rest. And I'll get back and I'm like, holy shit, I need to do that more often. Taking 3 days or 4 days in a row off, they're planned, but it's you bounce back so much harder. Did you notice that too? Once you hit the throttle and were able to, it's almost like you went shooting back where you were, then some even a little bit forward.
I think it was more nervous, man. I was nervous to do a lot of the weights. I remember I would go right before I stopped, I think I got up to 200-pound dumbbells. And when I started back, I had to start off 20-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the start back is real.
Exactly. Me even fast forward a couple months in and training and getting more comfortable, looking at weights. This week, this Monday, I just hit 150s again. And even you could ask my training partner, looking at that weight and picking it up, I had it on my lap for a good 2-3 minutes before I even think about doing it, because I had to mentally get back in that mindset to do that kind of weight again. Yeah. So it's real, man.
It's kind of
I bet you're going to go shooting right past. You're probably going to go shooting right past where you were, brother. Sorry, Nick. What were you saying, brother?
No, it's probably one of the biggest things coming back from injuries and surgeries and stuff like that is you 100% have to have your head in what you're doing at all times when you're starting to get back towards where you were. You have to. There is no, I'm just going to do this today. Because the last thing you want to do is go back and start all over again from square one with rehab and surgery and everything else. So The trick is figuring out how to moderately push it to progress and yet still get enough stimulus in there and stuff like that without getting hurt again. And it's a slow, methodical process that most people, they want to get right back to it. It's like, you have to be patient. It's a discipline.
There's a progression. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's like you can't just say, oh, I feel good, I can do a little bit more. It's not ready yet.
Yeah.
But when you get to that upper
Nick to
part
do
of
pull-ups
it,
again.
oh my God, I took like 2 years.
Yeah.
But I can do them now. I can do pull-ups again. Finally. It took literally nearly 2 years for me to be able to do pull-ups. And now I can finally do pull-ups again. I'm not afraid of it. I was still, up till the last trip Ben came out here, I was still afraid to try to do pull-ups without a band.
Yeah.
And now I can do them without a band. And it's like...
It's a very humbling experience, right?
Oh, yeah. All the way around.
There's something about that. I mean, I didn't rip my lat like you did, but I've torn both my lats just small. But you can clearly see pieces are gone from pull-ups, right? And it's like, God damn, every time I get in there, I don't have a band. I realize it's one, because it happens and you don't even fucking know what's going to happen. Oh, bam, there goes a little piece, like son of a bitch, And so there's certain movements that, that I know, like pull-up is one for me too, So it's one of those things to where it's a rebuilding confidence. And so you're on the right track, Ak. Let's go, brother.
Yeah,
absolutely. 150s already. Jeez.
Yeah. So, exactly. Some people can hope one day that they can even hit the hundreds, and Akim Williams just pushing the 150s as a warm-up.
150s. But that's when you're an absolute freak of nature. I mean, you heal better, but you also know your regimen, your body, how things work.
Yeah.
You got it down, and that's... So, I mean, it's normal for you. Kind of like the upper end for normal people.
So since you're back training again, obviously clearly focused on getting back on stage, what are your thoughts on the Olympia and competitor list this year in terms of, like, last year there was just a shitload. This year they're thinning that down a little bit. What are your thoughts there? I mean, that's you answering this question is cool because you're right in the heart of all this,
Well, I mean, if anybody listened to this podcast, they would know that last year and the previous years before that, you didn't have to win a show to get qualified for the Miss Olympia. There was a system in place where you would go for points. So the top 3 bodybuilders with the most amount of points would automatically get a qualification to the Olympia. Fast forward 2023, they changed the rules where you only get qualified for the Miss Olympia by winning the show. So that cuts down the list of amount of competitors that they're going to have. So it makes it a lot harder, actually.
More elite.
Exactly. Because if you have multiple guys winning shows and keep competing, then that takes away from the competitors that's going to basically win shows and get to the Miss Olympia. So if a competitor like Nick Biasha, he already qualified for the Miss Olympia, but he kept on competing and he won 2 shows right after that. So he kind of took away from somebody getting to the Miss Olympia. So even Hunter Labrada tried to do it, and even Andrew Jack tried to do it. So these guys are doing more than one shows, and they're taking away from that competitive list that's going to qualify for Miss Olympia. So like Ben said, it makes it a lot more elite because now the qualifications have changed. Do I agree with it? Not really. I like the point system because just because you didn't win a show doesn't mean you're not going to do well at the Miss Olympia. I remember in 2018, I didn't win a show. I placed second in every show that I did. And I went to the Miss Olympia, and all the guys that won shows and all the guys that beat me at shows, I beat them at the Miss Olympia. So that's proof right there that just because you didn't win a show doesn't mean you're not going to do well at the Miss Olympia.
Yeah,
very true. Sunday like that, just like football. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean, especially bodybuilding, because goddamn, I mean, it can be just the slightest little change hours before that makes all the difference, and that's half of the art of bodybuilding is knowing exactly how to make that little twist and show just right.
Yeah.
And with the Olympia being in Florida this year, not in Vegas, what are your thoughts on that?
Nick, don't take it personal, but
he loves it. He loves it.
I love the Olympia in Florida better, man.
It's closer to home.
Yeah, I'd rather have it here.
Jon is actually absolutely right. It's a lot less time flying. Because, you know, for me, Florida is like, what, 3 hours away? 3-4 hours away from flying. Vegas is like 6-7.
Mm-hmm.
So I like
6-7?
that. Yeah.
It's a 4.5-hour flight, 5-hour flight.
Yeah, but you know, there's never no straight flights. It's always connecting.
Straight flight. No? Oh, there's no straight flights?
No.
There's no direct flights.
Last time I went to Vegas, it took me about 6 hours.
Oh my
Depending on where you're flying from, Nick, like from Vegas, there's a direct flight everywhere. Where Ock's coming from, there's not a. He's got to take a hop flight someplace. Yeah. There's going to be a two-hour fucking layover.
Yeah.
And then there's a goddamn 3-hour flight.
Yeah, we went to Myrtle Beach last year. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So, you know, I always get a direct flight to Florida. You know, 2 hours away, I get a direct flight to Florida. And I mean, nothing against Vegas, but the Olympia in December in Vegas, it was pretty cold, man.
Yeah.
I remember us being backstage, and I'm not like saying anything bad about the Olympia and the whole Olympia production, but it was a little bit shitty. Like they had us backstage in like open air, basically like outside in a way.
Oh.
Like it was all open, so it was really cold.
Chilly.
Yeah, very chilly that day. You know, and a lot of competitors complained about that. We didn't like that at all. Because here you are, you know, your body fat's low, you know, you're depleted and everything like that. And
the wind's cutting.
Exactly.
You're not staying warm, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought
when you try to staying warm, you're going to show better too. You know, your veins. Your veins are like a radiator. They come to the surface when you're hot. When you're cold, those fuckers go inside.
Yeah,
it's like deswelling everybody.
It's like your nutsack. When it's cold, they go up tight. When it's warm, they drop down low. You know.
So that was a little bit frustrating, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely frustrating because for some reason I never been to Las Vegas in that December month. Yeah. I didn't realize how cold it could get actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, hopefully they bring it back to Vegas, but they bring it back in the summer months because that's usually right at the beginning of the end of summer, right?
Yeah, September, yeah.
Which
and that's a beautiful month in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It's 91 degrees in the garage right now.
Yeah,
it's October, so it'd been great. September.
One of the big questions that I'm wondering, Akim, is what are your thoughts on Ramy not competing this year?
I kind of saw that coming because I think. For the first time in Olympia history, he was one of the first Olympians that slipped all the way from first to fifth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a big drop.
Exactly. That usually don't happen. So I think that probably mentally like kind of messed with him. And mentally, if you know you're feeling like somewhere in your heart that it's best to sit it out. If you're not going to give it to 100%, it's best to sit it out. And he probably came to that conclusion that maybe he needs a little bit of break, he needs a little bit of time off.
Do you think some of the judging's changed as opposed to they're switching gears to a little bit harder look and a little bit more symmetry?
That could be also that could probably be one of the criteria right now too.
Instead of just the biggest mass monster on stage.
Yeah.
Well, another thing too, is granted there's a certain element of a body gets tired. Mr. Olympia for 2 years, he had a lot of shit going on, traveling and doing this and doing that. Yeah. And it's like, if your body's not properly rested, it's not going to have that look that it needs to win another Olympia. I mean, you see it happens to a lot of guys. They get run a little too thin and it wrecks their look. You could speak to that. Yeah,
of course. And I mean, to his fans and everybody, I know he'll definitely be missed because he has an amazing presence on that Olympia stage. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of his fans and everything like that will definitely miss that. So sometimes you got to take a step back to make some steps forward. And I think probably that's what he's doing right now, regrouping and coming back. So I wish him nothing but the best of luck. And I know he will probably be missed on that Olympia stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's big as a house for sure. And he's always fun to watch, but I guess, and the bottom line is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he had talked about wanting to retire by a certain age. And I want to say that age is probably right about now anyway.
Yeah. Well, he said, 3 years or like a certain amount of, like I said, I remember.
What did he say, 37? Didn't he say 37? Or maybe I'm just remembering a number wrong.
No, I think he's over 37 already. If I'm not mistaken, I think me and him are right around the same age because I just turned 39, so I think we're around the same age, I think.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of on that same path too. Like I think I give myself another 3 or 4 years, and then I want to go off into the sunset. You know, I don't want to be 45, 46 doing this still, man. I think at a certain point you have to, you know,
54.
realize that you know the body when you hit a certain age, the body don't respond the same way, man. It's a lot harder to do certain things, you know.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of it. The question is Ramy to that point where his body's kind of not responding the way it used to? You know, some guys as they get older, they seem to get better. Some guys don't. It's so individualized. You know.
I mean, I've seen recent pictures and stuff of him, and he looks massive still. So as far as size, you know, I don't think he's. I don't think that's going anywhere.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. So what was this whole thing with this video with Brian Shaw with this massive dumbbell?
Yeah.
I happened to come across a video with, I'm not sure who the other gentleman is, but it was Brian Shaw.
Joel Dirks.
Okay.
He went with Joel Dirks. Yeah.
Okay.
And Joel's got like an incredible grip. He really does.
Yeah.
I mean,
He was one of the first ones to actually move that dumbbell.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. He actually started getting it off the ground. So, and nobody's done that yet. So that's pretty crazy. I mean,
how much would you say that dumbbell weighs?
You know what? I wish I could tell you because I didn't read the caption on it. I saw it and like kind of looked at it for a little while. It's got to be over 230 because I know he can pick up a 230-pound dumbbell.
I mean, listen. There are some 250s at my gym. They call them the Ronnie Colemans.
Right.
And I've picked it. I'm one hand. I've picked those up before. So
right,
I know
but it's a 2-inch handle.
They gotta be. Okay, so
that's the difference. It's a 2-inch handle. The handle's,
Gotcha.
you know, the handle's like this. That's the whole thing. You can't lock your hand around it. So, I mean, people that I think might be able to do that, I'm sure if Joel and Brian struggle with it, then you got Felix, who's got such long hands. He can get his hand all the way around the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how long his fingers are.
When I shook his hand last year.
It's like you feel those fingers back up here when you shake his hand, you know?
Yeah. I think the only person I know of that might have had bigger hands is Angus McCaskill. And I mean, that guy was a non-pathological giant. He was 7'8" and 500 pounds. And his
you think we got to put Phil in that, and Phil Pfister in that school of big hands too. You know?
Big hands, yes, but Phil's got a great grip. I mean, he did great on the Hercules hold at World's Strongest Man. But we haven't really seen Phil try to grab anything that's 2 inches. And
he's not a grip expert by any means. Right. I totally agree with that. We're just on that banana hands thing. He's definitely in the running though.
Let me ask you a question, Nick. Back a while ago, Jay Cutler came out with these grips called fat grips. I'm not sure if you ever heard of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time actually.
I got me a pair.
So the whole concept is basically taking your forearm out of that movement, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's for grip. I mean, you're trying to squeeze things as you go. Yeah. So it's trying to actually make your grip better.
So now, when you have a big dumbbell with big grips like that, right? Mm-hmm. Does the forearm plays a big part in terms of how strong your forearms is to actually move that weight?
It comes down to the crushing strength of your hand.
Okay.
Not necessarily forearm strength. It's going to be, no matter what you do, grip strength, it's forearm strength.
Okay.
But it's going to be crushing strength as opposed to like holding strength. Okay. So there's two different things. I have ungodly good holding strength. I have no idea why. Mm-hmm. My crushing strength isn't bad. At the Shaw, they had that dumbbell medley too. I picked the 210. I almost got it off the ground, but I yanked the 190 right off the ground. I got it up to waist height and everything else. So that was kind of neat because the Thomas Inch is 172, and I haven't trained any grip for a while.
Those dumbbells that Mark Henry had, how heavy are those dumbbells?
I think that one's like 250.
Okay.
Because to my knowledge, he's the only one that actually pick it up and take it out of the box. So yeah.
And so just for viewers, for grip strength, there's 3 different types. There's pinch, which is here. Then there's grip, which is you're crushing, and then there's support, which is like Nick's really good at, holding something like a farmer's walk for a long time or a Hercules hold. There's 3 different types of grip strength. And this one, that big dumbbell, it's crush, because you got to be able to squeeze that big handle to get it off the ground. I mean, granted, all 3 play a part to some extent.
Correct.
But those are the 3 types of
size and the way it's built.
Yeah.
The way my hands are built when I grab the farmers, I can just hold on to it. It just the way my fingers lock into it, I can hold on to it.
Well, also too, Nick's using 100-pound plates and just holding them with his fingertips.
Well, yeah, that's it.
You know that plays. He'll sit there and hold it for like a whole minute, like all right, Nick.
That's got a little bit to do with it as well. Yeah.
So this dumbbell, we're talking about real quick. This dumbbell, we're talking about a handful of people. They could probably 5, 6, 7 on the planet that could lift that thing up.
Yeah, if that. I mean, maybe
the percentage is very low.
1 out of 8 billion, 2 out of 8 billion. Yeah, that's about it.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it really is. But yeah, it's kind of neat.
What were you saying, Ben?
Well, I was saying Nick was actually present at the retirement and at the victory of Brian Shaw for the strongest man on earth. You know what I'm saying? He got front row seats. He was actually working the event. So, you know, like, it's crazy because like it used to just be the Shaw Classic, and now it's the strongest man on earth Shaw Classic.
Yeah, it is. And it was a neat way to see Brian go out. I mean, it really was. It was, I mean, just all the way around. The innovation on the events, bringing just the showmanship and the spectacle of the sport back with some of the events. The car leg press. I mean, it's over 1,800 pounds, and you're doing that for reps.
Yeah.
You know what's even most impressive, all what you're talking about, what really is crazy is that how Brian has grown the size of the crowd of that show. Holy shit. I mean, he filled that goddamn arena up.
He sold it out.
You don't see that for fucking strongman in the USA.
Yeah.
Fuck. Are you kidding me?
Yep. He sold it out.
Yeah.
And I mean,
how many people were there? What was sold? I mean, it was
like over 5,000. Over 5,000 seats.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then all the VIP seats around the fronts and stuff. Yeah. But those are
I mean,
100 each.
That contest is like crushing on all levels. Innovation, best competitors, you know. I mean, but that's just kind of Brian, you know. He Expo too.
Well,
I mean,
the
when
Expo
Brian
is
does
nuts.
something, he does it everything. You know, he's going to do everything at every angle.
He does. He's 100% in. When Brian focuses on something and wants to be good at it, he is the best at it. He'll find a way. He innovates because of things. That Expo he did, they had people buy booths at the Expo that sold more than they sold at the Arnold.
Oh, wow.
You're
Let
shitting
me say that again.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had people buy booths there that sold more stuff there than they did at the Arnold. Almost all the vendors sold out of everything that they came with.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the crowd that came to that spent money. It was pretty amazing.
Yes. Because these bigger shows like the Arnold and the Olympia, everybody, it's nowadays the people that come to these expos, they buy the ticket, whatever they spend. I have no idea what these tickets cost. But they think, okay, now I have to go recover that money in this fucking expo, free shit. That's all. You know, it's to where an expo like at Brian's show, they're coming to support and have fun and spend money. You know, it's like they're going to an event. You know, it's almost a different mindset than going to just an expo by itself.
I think it also says a lot about the culture in terms of the people that are gravitating towards the strongman and stuff like that. I think, from my experience with just, you know, Nick and Jon, strongman in general has a better bond. It's more camaraderie.
Yeah.
So I think that would also reflect the type of fans that shows up to the event also.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's new and it's neat. And I mean, like, all the speakers they had. I mean, Ed Cohen, Brian spoke, Robert spoke, Eddie spoke, I spoke, Jamufu spoke, and I got into kind of Jamufu's, and Jamufu's got a little bit into mine. So I mean, that was just so much fun, and just all the way around. I mean, and we're having a good time, and we're not being anybody else. We just go up there and we just be ourselves. And people ask us questions, and we talk about our history a little bit, and then just like, hey, hit me with the questions. What do you want to know? You know, and the return back that you get from the crowd, just in appreciation, is absolutely amazing.
Now, I want to
sounds
mention
like that was a really supportive crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was. And let me tell you, I don't know if you guys know this, but Nick ate 20 Taco Bell tacos on that trip.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah. It was mercy the next day.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the same house with you after that.
Yeah. Well, someone was stuck in the Mini Cooper the whole way with me.
I used to, in college, I used to go to Taco Bell and I would buy 10 bean burritos and I'd eat them before my roommates got back to the room. And I would fucking blow that place up all night. They'd be so pissed off. They're like, "What are you eating?" I was like, "I don't know."
I don't know. It just didn't agree with my stomach.
They never agree with your stomach, man.
Oh, man. I tell you what, though, nothing's worse than Eddie eating his steak and broccoli and eggs. You know, because the combination of the broccoli and the eggs
that's a good combo. That's a good
was
combo
horrible,
there.
and it would just give him the worst gas. Oh man, he just let go, and is this ever going to end? Your eyes would be burning, and then he hotboxes. He'd lock the doors in the van, so in the windows and stuff. It's like, dude, come on. So, yeah,
I get it. I understand that behavior. I do the same thing. Well, shit, guys, that was a fun little episode. You know, that being said, we're rounding up about to coming close to the 30-minute mark. We want to keep this new variation of our show hot, fast, and fun. So that being said, everyone, thank you for watching and listening. We got another Legends of Iron coming at you, and we will see you next time.
Legends of Iron is brought to you by MuscleMeds.
Eating like a bodybuilder is not cheap. I mean, have you seen the recent cost of steaks lately? Thankfully, I'm able to get all my meals in and hit my macros for just a fraction of the price with Carnivore Lean Meal, MuscleMeds' newest innovative whole food meal replacement.
Compare Carnivore Lean Meal to a typical bodybuilding meal. Carnivore Lean Meal stacks up in protein and carbs with none of the fat, but a carnivore shake is only about $3 per meal.
Get my 6 meal in. This is what I use right here. This is meal number 6. It's my Carnivore Lean Meal. It's a combination of carbs combined with protein. It's actually made from real sweet potatoes and white potatoes, so can't beat that. Tastes awesome. Love that product.
And to top it all off, guys, it's lactose-free and sugar-free. Stop overpaying for your meals and eat clean with Carnivore Lean Meal. It's better than any meal you can cook yourself at a fraction of the price.